Good morning, fellow Nigerian. Once again, it's George Onibe. And as always, we will continue to do everything we know that is necessary, everything we know that is lawful, everything we know we need to do in order to salvage the next generation of our people. And I would love to start this morning by singing a song, my dialect song. Umenele memihen, asuweni meme o, ne radiokwo bagarimo, ukwelu edim, radiokwo bagarimo ijelum. Asimumenele memihen, asuweni meme o, ne radiokwo bagarimo, ukwelu baba radiokwo bagarimo ijelu. And I'm sure only very few people will understand that song. The Igbo Biafra can crack their brain. But what we're saying is still similar anyway. But we are not the same people. No. Why did I have to sing that song? When you know what they know, they will say you are a bad person. Let me create a scenario. Somebody want to bewitch you, poison you, destroy you. And you are weird. Each time they set the trap, for instance, they put a charm, expecting you will match it and be afflicted diabolically. But because you know, you jump it. Peradventure, you have the cure, you survived it. They will say, don't worry, we will get him. They will make another plan, and you already know you are able to avert all their arrows, all their plans. They will get to a stage, the only option they have is to say you are a bad person. In a Nigerian mood, this is how they explain that man a bad man. So the thing where they do him, no one they reach out. That man must be a bad man. This is the position where we may have found ourselves because we know what they know. And so those of you who follow my platform, you will understand that we are not here to massage anybody's ego. And you see the real problem, the real people constituting nuisance as far as Nigeria is concerned, denting the image of our country, Nigeria. Watch all of them. They are almost these Igbo Biafra people. You will see them here. They will tell you he's an idiot, he stole money, he's useless, he lives in an uncompleted building. All is not because they're saying the truth. This is because I know what they know. And that is the problem. This morning, I will want you to know the truth. We are going to dish out this information to you in diverse means. We are praying honestly that you will be able to unlock everything we are telling you. Honestly, God will not do for man what man should do for themselves. A lot of things are going on in Nigeria to the extent that we don't know where to start solving our problem. We can't even tell when it all began, and certainly we are not aware of where it is going to end. But this is the danger there. Many ethnic groups will be wiped out without your knowledge. A lot of culture, tradition, and heritage has been destroyed already. There are diverse means and different patterns through which they are doing this. And some have been beaten down so much that they can't even react anymore. I come from such a tribe until now. But in order for us to survive and we become who we are, because this is not our decision, this is not our making, but we know that to remain what we are, we have a role to play. And that is why I simply say God will not do for man what man should do for themselves. I believe in my ancestors. I believe that somebody owns this world. Somebody created this world. Somebody runs this world. And I believe that only those who are open to knowledge and revelation, getting ready to apply it, are the only people that will harness the beauty of this world. No wonder the Bible says, for God has planted eternity in the heart of man, but they cannot be able to see the full scope. Not because they are blind, because they are too weak to see beyond their nose, if I will use those words. This morning, I want us to look at a message I simply titled, Who Runs Your Community? Who are the people running your community? If you must survive as an ethnic group in Nigeria, there is no two ways about it. Nobody will find out for you. You are the one that will find out those who are running, those who are managing, those who are influencing your community space. Now, look, there are many countries in the world today that has zero tolerance for corruption. Zero tolerance for corruption. I think Denmark should be one of the countries across the globe without any atom of corruption. We can talk about Sweden. We can talk about so many European countries. And of course, you have the Chinese, the Japanese. This is because, not because they don't have criminal tendency. This is because the people who runs this country, they create no room for corruption. Understand, it is not God that is creating it. The people who runs this country, they make sure they have zero tolerance for corruption. Go to Denmark, go to Ireland, go to most of these countries, those of you who are well traveled. Look at their corruption index. The people cannot change the thing until the people know what plagues them, and those they send to represent them work on those issues. And so each time, for instance, in Nigeria, you're talking about corrupt leaders, corrupt politicians, corrupt civil servants, corrupt men of God, corrupt monarch, corrupt population, everybody corrupt. Understand who runs the system. Let's check Nigerian as a case study first of all. Who run Nigeria? They are the one that will directly or indirectly, consciously or subconsciously, influencing what goes around in Nigeria. Don't play naive here. Because I repeat again, God will not do for man what man should do for themselves. When the Hausa run Nigeria 100%, no, it did not start with Hausa. When the Igbo run Nigeria 100%, they created institution, control switch that will suit their own ethnic group, their own league, their own cartel, their own cabal. That is why the damage Monakwe Thomas Aguyurunsi did to Nigeria constitutionally, we are not going to recover in a very long time, except you get the beginning of this, the end of this, my broadcast. Nigeria were trying to place their foot on the ground to become a country. And those people we have appointed to go and represent us, they formed a clique and they pushed some people away. The few of them remaining formed Wazobia. So Wazobia run Nigeria. And this is because supposedly majority, Yoruba as a majority, Igbo as a majority, and Hausa as a majority can decide the fate of all of you supposed minority. Not because you are minority, because they said you are minority. I'm coming. And so the first people who handled leadership were the Igbo people. This Igbo Biafra in disguise. I'm coming. Munaku Aguyurunsi being the first military president of Nigeria. The few constitution we have made to run this nation, he destroyed all of them. He re-edited it. He pushed this aside and then gave us decree. A decree that Nigerians cannot come out today and tell us that this was actually what they agree in the Supreme Military Council, based on the simple fact that when the military are empowered, the Constitution has suspended. We know this. But then there is another body that they call the Supreme Military Council, has not come out to tell we the Nigerians that every decree made by Aguyurunsi was actually their making. They agreed unanimously as Nigerians to enact such decree. Now understand, that decree laid the foundation of who runs Nigeria. Thomas Omonaku Aguyurunsi started imposing decree. All of you must become Nigeria. Everybody must report to Nigeria. All those rubbish. What he did favored his people, his Igbo people. He did not favor Yoruba. He did not favor Hausa in that instance. The Yoruba could only stand and watch. The Hausa people were boiling because of what has happened, which gave birth to the enthronement of Aguyurunsi. Only 3 of them were the major player. Only 3 of them run this country. But they know the politics already. They control their territory already. We don't run our territory. They run our territory on our behalf. I'm coming. And after a few months, Aguyurunsi was murdered in cold blood. That's a revenge for what is known as Igbo coup today. And so the Hausa people took power on this platform. They discovered that anybody who runs Nigeria with that decree ultimately benefit from Nigeria. And so Hausa people sat on that mandate till tomorrow morning. But I'm coming. So we became one Nigeria. No more region. Everything must go to the federal. And who runs the federal? They are the one who will decide whether there is corruption or there is no corruption. They are the one who decide who live and who die. They are the one who decide everything, absolutely. Who lead you, who runs you. You have no say. And they are still doing it tomorrow. And for a very long time, Hausa benefited from it. And along the line in the late 80s, people have started complaining. This constitution, they need to be this. Constitutional review, constitutional conference, they need to be. All these people have started glamoring. The people who run Nigeria went behind closed doors rather. And they gave us 1999 constitution as amended. But don't let anybody deceive you. They just re-edited the decree of Umunnaku Agu Yorunsi. Abdul Salam Abubakar now, make sure it continue. Because at that era now, I will start run Nigeria. And so they continue to enjoy it. But Tinubu, in less than 2 years on now, is about to rewrite who runs Nigeria. And it is shocking, it's amazing, just a short period of time, because he knew these things. He's not saying it, he's rewriting the history. Obasanjo them only was using body language to even complicate the life of more minorities, supposedly. Who runs your nation? Who runs your community? Most problem we are facing today that give birth to Igbo trying to claim me that I am Igbo and create sub-Igbo. And all these things they are doing is Obasanjo that aided and abetted them by giving out our country to Cameroon, by giving out our country to different people. Just butchered us, concocted us, weakened us the more. And today, we're still struggling to recover ourselves from Obasanjo boundary adjustment program. It's a Yoruba man. But finally, Tinubu is here. He runs this country. Invariably, Yoruba run this country. It's not a time where I begin to tell you that almost all the head of government parasitators are headed by Yoruba. They run it. You can run your mouth. Also go and form alliance. Until you get there, you don't run this country. Deal with it. But of course, you still have influence based on many years of dominance. That is, I'm talking about general Nigeria. Now Yoruba is creating a platform for them to run Nigeria. And so whatever happened, it's all determined by what is the mentality of those people who run your country. Nigeria is not my problem at this instance, but so you understand. The Igbo, having lost the first opportunity to run this nation, are fighting very hard to return to run this country. Now, like I always tell them, the three of them now have found themselves in a state of dilemma between the devil and the deep blue sea. They cannot go forward, they cannot go backward. The person who has the scepter of authority should do what he has to do. That is why Tinubu don't send any of you. Anything he sees will happen. You give him headache, he will use that decree of Agu Yorunsi that metamorphosed to Abdul Salam Abubakar 1999 constitution. And they are trying to change the constitution. Watch their body language. Watch Senator Akpabio body language, because you minority will be used to re-edit our life. But you are not getting it and you are not my concern. Hold on. Who runs your community? That is my concern here. And so all of a sudden, they want to do tax amendment bill. It's a beautiful thing because our constitution needs to be reviewed. A lot of issues need to be addressed. They know they are not ready for the truth. That is why they avoid national confab. That is why they don't want you to have a constitutional review. That is why even though they fakely present it to you, they will choose the people who will come and represent your people, because these are the people who runs Nigeria. That is Nigeria. Let them continue. You wake up one day, somebody supposedly a normal man wake up and begin to beg Nigeria. Oh, almighty Nigeria, please, as a senator of Anyoma people, almighty Nigeria, please carry Anyoma and then give it to the Igbo people. Senator Nedi Nwokuru forgot that we own Onitsha. Anyoma owns Onitsha. Ogbaru and his environ belongs to Anyoma people. It's not for Igbo people not to talk of Igbo Biafra. Obasanjo gave River Niger to them. And then, all these things creating, they are butchering us. Collect one state from Edo, collect one from community from Delta, collect one from Ondo, concord them, collect the land of the Midwestern region. We know the game. And then go to Akwa Ibom, collect one side, give us Obolo state. We know all this game. People are running these things, not for the interest of your community, not for our interest. They are still running the affair of Nigeria as they think is better for them. And as we speak, if there is corruption, they are the one to stop it. If there is no corruption, they are the one that controls it. We gave the power to our leaders. And based on our mandate, who is supposed to be the constitution, the security apparatus are empowered to defend life and property of Nigeria. Though the leaders has immunity, and this immunity defends their people. You can look at the body language of what is going on. You minority, you are the target. All of a sudden, PDP, all of them, they are going to zone the presidential candidate to South. We are the Mugu. Maybe they wanted Onyeso Wike to say, yes, this is my opportunity. If you know Onyeso Wike, tell him not to contest against Tinubu. When Tinubu tenure is over, he can come and contest. I know he will go forward. But all these things are game. Tell Wike not to even let him remain his minister. Because there are things they do that we have not said. That is why I call Akwa Ibom people. Akwa Ibom people, we know the game. I cannot come out and begin to condemn Akwa Ibom. I could only envy them, not negatively. And we wish to be like them because they know all this game all the time. They didn't fight this game back. What they did was to sit back and benefit from the whole process. And that is why they're able to defend their territory. Unlike the Benin people in that ancient time, the Benin did not go to fight anybody and they did nothing and they just kept quiet, preserving all that matters to them. Go and look at all the people, all the people who challenge this. All of them were locked up in Ikotek. Why were they locked up in Ikotek? There are things we know we don't want to see it. So Senator Akpabio, this is not the era of building prison in Ikotek. And this is not the era that you will, as a Senate president, begin to enact law to destroy others. It will affect you. Your people already don't want to Bolu State. Because it's like taking Akwa Ibom land and giving it to Igbo people. But let's see how the bill will end. Because this is just the beginning of the end. We're not trying to create this scenario on the national level. It's not to be biased against any ethnic group. Because when your fathers are hustling to control my father kept quiet and accepted it. Why will I blame you? And even though we cannot be able to undo all these things you people have done to keep Nigeria on her knees, we will point the truth to our children, the next generation of our people. You will not have your way easily. And if you are from South as we speak, they are telling you, you are the best candidate, even Chibuka Amechi. Don't let them fool you. Come back home and realign yourself. You are off course. You've gone very far. Don't let them deceive you. You are the one they are going to mesmerize. And if you people continue to play this game, mark my word, when Tinubu 8 years expire, Yoruba person will still be the president of Nigeria. All of you are going to run. You are not knowing what you put yourself into. But why am I saying all these things? You think solving Nigeria problem is going to be from the Aso Rock? No, solving Nigeria problem will start from your community. I have a relative that is in Singapore. He's been there for a very long time. And he said to me that when he came to Singapore, it was practically village like Agbo. There's nothing much there. It's been a while he's there. Until they review how their country functions. They review those who run their country. I think they have 5 districts or 8 districts, if I'm not mistaken, based on how they structure their people. And there are people they call CDC, Community Development Council also. He said this group of individuals, just like we have in Nigeria, create different leader or like region in different angle. You see, when they bring what the country can make, they make sure that if they tie one road, for instance, a 100-kilometer road in the southeast, they will tie the same 100-kilometer road in the southwest, the same 100-kilometer road in the north central, in the south, in the northeast, the entire region. He said when they build one hospital for any of this region, they duplicate it. And so despite the ones that have natural resources or the ones that don't have natural resources, they all grow together. That is what I call equity. Equity is not about who is more intelligent. It's not about who is more advantageous. It's about creating a platform for the disabled and the able people to operate evenly. Equity. And look at Singapore today. Go and look at the economic GDP. Go and look at their security analysis globally. They should be around the 5th in the world. Go and look at the rate of development. Go to Singapore because they understand equity. But Nigeria, we are still fighting who is a majority and who is irrelevant. And it is applicable to every other country. And so when the people at the head are corrupt, everybody will corrupt. You can only change the tide of this current of the river until you know the people who are controlling your community. And why do we have to check it? A lot of things are going on as we speak today in Nigeria. Most of you are disconnected from your village. But this is one truth you must know. My great-grandfather lived all his life in Warri. They were disconnected from the village. He would have been able to communicate to my people across board. Because my community, if you are going to Warri, it's not up to 7 kilometers. Because after my community, then another community, you begin to see, when I'm in Warri land, whether Urubu, Sheki, Rioli, Abraka, Patani, it's just the same route leading from my community. He did not connect with the home. He knew nothing. And the next grandfather did the same thing. They continued. Understand, they are large family. There are some that were in the village. They remain connected to the home up till now. But the tide is changing, but they are not aware. And then my own father came close to the town. to our village, our community. But he had little or less relationship with his community. Almost 60% disconnected. But at least, and now this is my time. Born and brought up in Orogodo. We live there as if, oh, this is where our village. It was never our village. If you are a youth, listen to me very closely. This is where your father has found blessing. This is where your father has found fulfillment and purpose for their life. And then soon our parents has departed. And I live in a different community where my children think this is where we come from. And I'll look at them. And I have to accept this truth and reality that one day I will not be here. The ones that are in Enugu may love Enugu and remain there. And their children will think they are from Enugu. And the ones that are in Lagos may choose to remain there because they found peace, prosperity, fulfillment there. Others could go to Sokoto, and that is where they found the purpose in life for them. But they cannot forget that they're coming from somewhere. But they may not return to that place. And so the only thing they connected to is emotionally. And that is why we are easily mesmerized, easily manipulated. And I remember I'm asking you, who controls your village? Today, when we debate the issue of Agbo, I know where I can talk as an Eka man. And I know where I can only support, I can't even be against. It's either I am in or I don't go against them. Sorry for those of you who don't understand it. But you see, my economic space, that is the only place I can go to in Nigeria where no matter what happens, they will temper justice with mercy. And then you go further, it's your maybe region. But you are disconnected from them. How do you think you can control or affect or make your position to be fed by those who run Nigeria, where you don't run your community? I know you don't understand what I'm saying, but let's see how I can be able to comprehensively make you see a whole history that will take me 1 year to analyze in just less than 30 minutes. Now today, there are a lot of atrocities going on in our communities. You can call them conspiracy theories. They are going on. Just 3 days ago, a community in Rivers State, they captured some Igbo Biafra people who brought drug into the community. Now, it's not about selling drug. They are everywhere now. This Igbo Biafra, their drug is everywhere, all in hiding in South. And somebody is there who telling you this, how to checkmate these people. You think you don't know. Now, this is what they do. There is a community in Warri. And of course, when I say Warri, I'm not just saying it could be Ajapa, it could be any place. But just look at that area. They were having crisis. Who are the people running your community? And I told you that there are people in your community that are not part of your community, the same way you are in other people's community that you are not part of the community. Who runs your community? And do you run their community? I remember I just reviewed to you that there is a community in Rivers State and other places where you have this Igbo Biafra. Those people who say they are Igbo Biafra. Now they can know them, Simon Ekpa them, and their group of company. They are in your village. The youth in that community discovered that they were some of these criminals selling drug in their community. They monitored it and they reported to the police. It was the youth who went and mobbed them and handed them over to the police. This is what they do. They push drug to destroy the mind of your people. But let me tell you the reason why I'm bringing it up. Like I was saying, a community around Warri Axis, they were having so many insecurity, crisis, killing the army, killing the police, killing themselves. And the Nigerian government have to deploy the military and say, go and find out the cause of this problem. Neutralize them. You know, normally now, the military came in. But among them was somebody from that community. They have the order. You can kill themselves and say it's accidental discharge. You can bomb everywhere. We say pilot miscontrol, so on and so forth. But the young man said to the commander, I said, this is my village. We cannot stop this crime, except we know those who are sponsoring this crime. And so when they came in, intelligently, they did not bother arresting or killing anybody, or they just relaxed as if they were done another mission. And this young man, who is also from this community, everybody knows he's a soldier, he's a military man. So they give it to him, he's their brother, they are not afraid of him. He went to their king, and they told their king, we want to stop this thing. The king said, we have tried, all to no avail. It's impossible for you to do this. And the young man said, don't worry. Just know that we are on surveillance in this community, and we are going to know those who run guns in this community. He said intelligently as military. Where did they go to first? Where they said Igbo. Because that is where they smoke. After smoking, they lose their mind. And so they went to the Igbo joints. Some of them smoke Igbo. Some of them take cigar. So they have to blend in. And they saw that the man that was selling the Igbo, who looked like he don't have sense, who looked like he's a mugu, is the one giving drug to the youth in that community. And this is the switch. The moment the youths are addicted to the drug, and they don't have money to afford it, this man will keep giving them drug for free. And because they have been addicted, and that man gives them for free, that man controls the youth. And the amazing thing is that man is not even from the community. And so when they discovered that was what was going on, the youth will go, Baba, ho, our Oga, hey, anything for your boys? The man will call them, come, I have a work for you. Come back in the evening. We give them free drug. The boys will hide, and in the evening they will return. Anything he tells them to do, they will do. And when they return, he continue giving them free drug, destroying the future of the next generation of your people. You are disconnected from your village. Somebody who sells fake drug, cocaine, is controlling your village. Who runs your community? I'm coming. And when they discover how this man was manipulating the village people, they did not arrest the man immediately. Now they want to find out, why is it that this man dashed drugs to this youth freely? Mpuru meaning, as they call it, because in my language, we don't have name for drug. Or this drug, the illicit drug, we don't have name for it. And so they said, who is giving this man this drug? Because they are quite expensive. And so they began to see that there are some politicians who are actually sponsoring this thing across your community, just to control the youth, make them do drug. And once they begin to do drug and get addicted, he who paid the piper detains the tune. This youth will think they are helping them by giving them the drug, but they will not know their life is destroyed already, and you are not there to help them. And so what did they do? They invited the man. He also claimed to be a native doctor, selling Igbo and other drugs. And they told him, we have seen your grip over the community of this youth, but we leave you or we hold you, we determine by who are the people sponsoring you. Because this drug you give them for free, who are the people sponsoring you? Of course, that is classified information. They did their job well and they left. You don't know what they go through. Yeah, they are not working. Nigeria army terrorists. But what you don't know is bigger than you. And now the king is sitting there uselessly. What language will I use? It's not useful. He's just a king. He doesn't know who runs his community. Even if he knows, he's afraid to point them out. But the people say, don't worry. The military say, don't worry. We will find out who runs this community. And that was how they put a stop to that. Under Anyoma defense, we went to a community in Ndokwa nation. And their king lamented that their community is under attack. They are killing themselves. The king told us that this is not about Fulani. They used to think it's Fulani headsmen. And then they later begin to think it's some Nigerian police who mounted the checking point around a particular place. He said, but now they discover it's not any of this. And the king allowed us to check what was going on. There is a sister from that community who is in America and still in America. She did not disconnect. And when she had this information, she contacted us. Those of you in Anyoma defense, you know what I'm saying. When that king lamented. And so she, among other Anyoma people, were able to sponsor us to go and find out what is happening. Do you know what is happening in the community? They are dragging oil well. And so SPDC and other oil companies who want to control how much they give to the community, maybe behind the company's policy, went back and begin to buy guns for some people. Those of you who have oil well in your community, don't you know the game? Some agent of SPDC, Ajib, Eni, Saipen, all this oil company, Enzo Mobi, all of them are doing in your village. Don't you know? So is it your king that runs your community or those oil companies? And the worst is that they don't take the best among you. They take the idiots, the ones that don't have future, the ones that don't have hope, the one that can kill you without thinking. Should I begin to tell you? Politicians runs their own. Oil company runs their own. Land grabber runs their own. Land grabber boils down to Fulani headsmen and Igbo Biafra people. Because when Fulani headsmen come, they go and induce some of your king give them money, and your king will sell your community land to them. Tomorrow you begin to blame me. Oh, they are Fulani herdsmen. Don't you see the video Fulani has made in recent time? They always say, go and meet your king. Go and meet yourself. So who runs your community? You can see Igbo Biafra people. This is one of the reasons we fall out with Nnamdi Kanu. We were with him saying we are doing Biafra. All about restructuring, which they are trying to present to us hopelessly. But we are watching. Because then we discover that this is Igbo agenda, Igbo Biafra agenda. It's not for the interest of anybody. Nigerian police will be aware. Before this time, they have started building where they manufacture bullets across our land. They have started attacking police, collecting their gun within Asaba Aziz. Go and ask John Chukuma. Go and ask Abel Nkenjika. And other people that Nnamdi Kanu was trying to use to destroy ourselves. He started taking Ebonyi youth and planting them into the areas we have rice farm, as if they are rice farmer. And they begin to run our villages. But what they don't know is that where we come from, and people who know what was going on, because I'm not in Delta State, they begin to tell me. I begin to question them. The same thing they are doing in the Southeast. Now they are running from the Southeast. And so they will say they are from Southeast and they are running your village. I can go on and on and on and on and tell you. Most of them running your village are not from your village. Most of them running your village don't live in your village. But they have planted something that runs your village. And so when it's election time, you will think you have a popular politician who all of you are going to represent, even with the mandate of the king. These house niggers will be there. All they need is give drugs. Give drugs to youth. Make them lose their mind. Look at them when police arrest them, apprehend them. After some minutes, their brain begin to calm down. Okay, don't let anybody deceive you. As far as we are concerned, it is our duty to know those who runs our community. These are some of the things we want our people to know. Who are the sponsors of Senator Mbata to become leader of Ohanaeze Ndigbo? And one of them wrote to me and said, yes, Senator Mbata have proven that Ikwere people are Igbo because he's a king in Igbo land. It's on my comment section. And I asked him, it's a socio-cultural affairs group, now a monarchy system. So to them, Mbata is the king of Ndigbo, Ikwere man. But what they didn't tell you is that that is a decoy and a distraction. Because your supposed Ohanaeze Ndigbo have two wings. One of Isi Tunzo and one of Mbata. And when they finish committing crime, this one will blame this one will blame this one. That is what they always do. This time they are saying, you are Igbo. They are trying to create a decoy to deceive fellow Nigeria. Manipulating all of you, jumping up and down. We are Igbo, we are Anata, Anasebia, we call hand to hand. But you are not getting it. Who runs your community? All of a sudden we wake up. Senator Nedi Nwokoro start jumping up and down. And Nyoma project, we will collect Onitsha. Nyoma project. Onitsha man cannot be a governor of Anambra State. The same way, Igbo man will not be president of Nigeria. These are the decisions they have made. They vow with their blood. They will die making sure it doesn't happen. Go and ask Anambra people. They made a vow that no Onitsha man will go to government house in Oka. And they keep to it. Why? HM na one child bundi Igbo. Now, Senator Nedi Nwokoro to deceive us. He said, oh, you give the Onitsha will become a Nyoma own. When we enter Ona, Igbo Biafra Unity Beggar, when we enter Ona, you are just magnifying your problem. Because it's not in our nature and character. That is why we are begging you, back off, leave us alone. And when we saw they want to run us, I started querying them. I started asking them questions. Some of them are sincere. And they start disassociating. Ikechukwu Goha is dead now. I warned him for some time. He didn't listen to me. I think they say Igbo Biafra has unalived him. But the people running Igbo land are in diaspora. They think we are Biafra, we are Gifashara, they are marginalized now, they are only to blackmail. But whatever they do, they run their community. Just that not all of them know who runs their community. And so the moment you know who runs your community, all of you can have one voice. Until then, you are not safe. And so, people of South, we have our differences. But at some time, we've been able to respect one another. The earlier all of us go back home to find out who controls our community, the better for all of us. Because that is the beginning of the civilization of Nigerians. Some South African bloggers made a post and was calling other Africans that Nigeria is the problem of Africa. If Africa must unite, if Africa must move forward, that they must deal with Nigeria. I would have felt bad. But I can only tell that South African boy that Nigeria is not the problem of Africa. Nigeria has not been the problem of any country in the world. True Nigerians has contributed politically, religiously, and otherwise to the development of other countries around the world, biologically and technologically, every way known to man. But there are a group of people who say they are Igbo Biafra. The amazing thing is they come from Equatorial Guinea. They come from Israel, children of Abraham. They are the one jumping up and down, constituting nuisance, and they manipulate some people. It's not only Igbo Biafra. You can see Kemi. Is it Kemi Badus or whatever? Who even talk down of Nigeria. So they come. That one is Yoruba. So what is worrying that one? So these people could be sponsored by the imperialists, because the last time we checked, Igbo mean International British Corporation. So no Igbo person I know. And if anybody says Igbo, we are different kind of Igbo. You have Upland Igbo, Riverine Igbo, Bottom Igbo, Niger Delta Igbo, Igboko, Yoruba Igbo, Araba Igbo, Igbo. But these people are not real. When they tell you I am Amandoba man, when they tell you I am Hichowa man, when they tell you I am Aruchuku man, when they tell you they are Abreba man, even though they are Akwa Ibom, they just accept it. These are people. Because we know that when slave trade was abolished, these slaves were empowered by the imperialists to control our life. Are they the one controlling your village? My brother, we have a work to do, and we have not even started. I'm trying to create a platform. So many platforms. This is an elephant project. It's not a broiler or layer or noiler farm where in less than 3 months or 6 months they start laying egg. So I'm not looking for the result immediately. But in the end, what we will do will echo into eternity. And then when we can control our community, and then as one community, we can resist the system. And if as one community, we can develop our place, we'll become a force to reckon with. Look at Tiny Fulani. It is not about number. It is about what you know. Look at Tiny Fulani. And not sure they're up to 3,000 in Nigeria. He held all of us on our heel. There is something they know we don't know. Who runs your community? No, who runs your community? It's just a question you need to answer. And if you don't know the answer, my brother, it's your duty, it's your responsibility. Go and find out the people running your community, because God will not do for man what man should do for themselves. This is our task. And when we are done addressing these issues, you will see everything big starts small. A little drop of semen forms the baby. And before you know, it develops head, hand, tail, legs. And before you know, it goes to maturity. And 9 months later, the baby is born. And then when it's born, it begins to grow. And now look at somebody like me. Everything big starts small. And so those of you who love Nigeria, who care for Nigeria, who wish the right thing will be done, corruption and all that ills that plagues nations are completely dejected and abandoned. Please, first assignment, go and find out who runs your community. Because people will speak for you when you are not there. Take example of people that are doing creation of state. The issue of Anyoma, they are going to Akwa Ibom to debate about it and Enugu. Akwa Ibom people and Enugu people, now the Anyoma people, why don't they come to Anyoma land and tell us that rubbish? And those of you who are ignorant, are we Akwa Ibom? Are we Igbo people from Enugu? Because the people who runs Anyoma land are not in Anyoma. It shows you that Akwa Ibom people may have hand. That's why I call Senator Akpabio and I'm calling Akwa Ibom people. Anyoma project, Senator Akpabio, we will remember you for it. Let it pull out. Maybe we'll begin to visit the history of why Adakaboru, why Obafemi Awolowo, why all the prisoners of one Nigeria by Ojukwu and Agu Yorunsi, all of them were locked up in Ekotek Bene prison. They could not stop all these things. It boils down to who run your country. And the Anyoma Sen Awabundi, Bundi Anyoma, Anyoma State in the Southeast, all of you who runs your community. Get this truth and deal with it. You are a father in your house. Who runs your house? Who controls your house? Your children, your wife, or you, or your parents, or your friend, or your pastor? Not until as a father you run your house, you will have problem. When your pastor runs your home, you are in trouble. When your parents run your home, you are in trouble. When your friends run your home by virtue of advising you, all of you are in trouble. I know you don't get the message. And like I said, we are still building the platform. It's a great job. It's a great deal. It's supposed to be an entire Nigerian project, which it is. But charity begins at home. There are people who are working on the Eka project, another diverse community among the Eka nation. Ndokwa, Anyocha, Usimili, precisely, entire Anyoma. There are different platforms for it. We are trying to build the one for the South-South people. We understand the challenges. But if we can't put South-South together, Midwestern region, we will do what we have to do. Because at the end of the day, we are separatable, inseparable, whether you know it or not. We are the same people, yet we are not the same people. It's a religious dogma known as separatable, inseparable, a term that is used to describe the Trinity. Though they are different, but yet they are one. Yet they are one, though and yet they're different. Maybe you understand that English. And then we can come on the national scale. Charity begins at home. You are Yoruba person, you are Hausa person, you are minority or majority Igbo person. Go and find out who is running your community before you come out and challenge us. All the Igbo politicians, Igbo elders, Igbo intellectuals, Igbo billionaires, all of them were there. One illiterate Nnamdi Kanu, a common barber in the UK who couldn't finish secondary school, run all your community. And now we are trying to save you from stupidity and foolishness. We are your problem. That is why in that broadcast, I started it with a song. Umenele memihen, umenele memihen, umenele memihen, asuweni memeo. Baba radioko baradimo, ijelumo, nene radioko baradimo, ukwelu. Yanuade. And so it's not they come blackmailing me. We know what they know. Now they call us bad people. This is where I bring the broadcast to an end. I'll go to the comment section, receive my insult to energize me for tomorrow because we have work to do. We will look into it in details. Everything the eye see is not what the mouth say. If you think I'm giving you in-depth analysis of what I'm saying, you lie. Already, we are on a mission. We are watching everything going on. And in the coming days, there's something I'm supposed to do in Benin. And I've been getting update about that very project. And I see there is great evil that runs that project. But I will get to the bottom of it. And then the owner of that project will have peace once and for all. Because all of us, you must go back to your roots. You can live in America. You live in Europe, you are not from Europe. Those children born in Europe, they may think they are from Europe. Some of us in Nigeria can't even speak our language. We think we are from the community where we come from. A lot of things will change over time. But take the truth and have peace. Let's receive the insult and move on. Go and find out who runs your community. We'll continue from there. I see David. He say Ndewo. David Ndewo. Mbele. Because when you say Ndewo in Igbo dialect, me we say Mbele in Abo dialect. When you say Mazi in Igbo, me we say Diokpa in Abo, Eka land. But yes, Igbo is your own dialect, it's your own dialect. No, deal with it. And I'm happy David will tell me Ndewo. Because through Ngwa people, through Afari Beku people, through Enugu Ezike people, through Nza Ikwo, all of these, through people, you are the one we are saving. Because some bunch of criminal jumpers, they say the Igbo Biafra, they begin to give us name. Ibon is Igbo Wawawa, David Umahina is Igbo Wawawa, by the same Igbo. Then they say we, that is Igbo Nduali. And then the other people are Ikwere, Ndinwere Nuchi, and the rest rubbish. And all of you keep quiet. Nobody runs my community. Nobody will run my community. Talk your own, I talk my own. I see my brother, of course, Henry Chim is here. I greet you, Henry Chim is here. Each time you greet me, Diokpa, you don't know how happy I am. So always put that Diokpa. Give me sense of belonging. Thank you very much, my brother. I see Samuel. Good morning, Samuel Okuri. I greet you. Innocent Dede. I greet you. He say Biafra is the tools they use for self-deceit and political limitation. Oh, okay. Yes. When they finish manipulating, using different platforms to control us, and we are fighting ourselves. When we are supposed to look at the real problem, we are allowing them to distract us. I'm sure Fulani herdsmen are not in the village killing them again. I listened to one Igbo woman blogger who went to investigate what is happening in Olo Imo State and its environment. He said the killing of Igbo in the southeast becoming unbearable. She was speaking Igbo. But what she has discovered is that Nigerian journalists and newspapers are not reporting it. That the horrible thing is happening there. Our concern now is how to blame Nigeria. But what will Nigeria do? When Nigeria comes and say, oh, this year, Biafra people causing insecurity in the southeast, let's deal with them. You people will start crying. And the same way when they want to stop Boko Haram, some Hausa will tell you, attack on the Fulani Boko Haram is an attack on the Hausa, waiting on our want land grabbers. And so when they see that you are the problem of yourself, they let you be. Since in a anomado, you love to chop human flesh as a Biafra, and there are people who want to serve you their flesh, then go ahead. But don't bring that rubbish to our place. We are poor. We are not educated. We are not intelligent. We don't have money. But the beautiful thing is that we are contented. And you see where we come from, we use money. Money don't use us. Deal with it. That is why I'm still inside a completed building in the ocean. When you come later, drop your insult on the comment section. I will respond to you adequately. And don't forget, this is just the part 2 of this broadcast. Have a nice day.